Yo, Philip SAYCE Part 2 interview coming now.
Great. Mind if we talk about a little bit of guitar gear related stuff?
Well, let's do it, Nick. I mean, you know, we talk gear all the time, so
yeah. Well, first things first. You shocked the internet by playing that blonde guitar the other day with a new neck on it. You want to talk about that a little bit?
I do, yeah. So, thanks for asking. And my friend Nick, Nick and I had been talking a fair amount, and we were talking about guitar necks. And so there's this SAYCE situation where, you know, they're really been frowning on Brazilian rosewood, and obviously for very good, you know, good reason. We want to live sustainably, of course, and be mindful of what's happening. However, you know, the situation with a 50-plus-year-old guitar with a Brazilian rosewood fingerboard is taken a little far, and I think it's a major oversight.
Yeah.
Whoever made that decision, and I think they've admitted to that in some ways, and they're in the middle of sort of a review. You just don't want to be the one day where they're like, "Hey, what? I think we're gonna have to hang on to this."
Yeah.
And I'm not really in a position where I have, you know, unlimited amount of pre-CVS Stratocasters. I have two that I love, and I'm grateful to have them. So, you know, Nick, you and I have been talking about different neck situations for a while. I had a maple neck, which is great, but ultimately I felt like my mother's Strat wanted to have a rosewood board on it. So he called me up and said, "Hey, dude, check this 66 out." And that ended up being the one. So that's what I've been using, and I love it. It's amazing. It's like brought the mother Strat back into a new light.
Yeah. Just so you know, the guy that sold us the neck basically because it was kind of brokered. He's going to be there on the Bonamassa cruise as well, and I told him to bump into you and shake your hand.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So it's kind of weird how things like that just come full circle. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's super cool, Nick.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I got some big frets put on it. My friend Brian Mascaron did the fret work. He's just outside of Toronto, and you know, I went up to Toronto to visit family, so I was able to bring the neck. And he just did it a couple of days quickly, and but yeah, it's awesome. I'm really happy with it. So thank you for the what do you call that, love connection there.
I don't know if maybe, did you do anything with I know because that neck was extremely clean, and you know, that was almost one of those deals where you didn't know which way to go with it because it was such a great price and it was so clean that you were like, well, what do we do with it, you know?
Yeah.
But did you do anything with the finish on the back or try to like make it a little smoother? You're just gonna play it right in?
Yeah, just gonna just let it be as it was, because it didn't, you know, it's it's just a very sort of fast playing neck and a very comfortable neck, and I think it's not really bothering me at this point,
right?
You know,
right.
So I'm just gonna leave it alone, and you know, if at a certain point I start to feel like you know, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it, as they say. So I think, you know, definitely needed frets though. It was on, you know, the frets were
they were originals.
Yeah, they were really flat, and so got the frets, got some frets in there, and a new nut, and it just kind of fit, like it just sort of fit like right on here.
Yeah. There it is.
So, oh yeah, sorry, I don't like have the best angle here, but you can kind of see the heads. But there's some real nice figure in the neck around the first, right around the first position there, first fret. But yeah, it's a really
it's got
big headstock neck.
It's got such a Hendrix vibe now. You know what I mean? It's like,
wow.
That guitar. I mean, the original neck that was on there. How many times have you had that fretted?
A lot of times. I want to say maybe definitely more than five or six or seven, but maybe not quite as many as 10. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I've had that guitar for almost 20 years. So
yeah, I mean,
20 years.
At that,
I got it in 1998. So yeah, maybe between 7, 8 times, something like that.
At that point, you're talking about your fret slot is just, it's wide. There's nothing there, and no matter how many times you plane that neck, I'm just thinking about it from a repairman standpoint. I mean, when you got that because I think a couple of years ago you were able to get them both refretted, correct?
That's right. That was
did he tell
16 or 17.
Did he tell you this was the absolute last one on that? Because there's no way.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Yeah, he felt that, I mean there were big frets on there, so
right.
They should last a minute, but up the top of the neck too, by where it joins the body, where the around the 21st fret there, about the 19th, 21st fret on the treble side, the neck is also really wearing down. There was it's like noticeably wearing down into the maple. So yeah, I mean, I think you could probably get through another couple of years, but after that, I don't think you would want another refret. And I think that was the advice that I received as well. And you could always change the fingerboard out and do stuff like that, but I didn't really want to. So the neck is still currently playable.
Yes.
Probably not the original 63 neck, but probably doesn't want another. It doesn't want another refret. So to have the opportunity to find this like 66 neck, I'm not too worried about it. 3-year difference.
No.
The Indian rosewood. I mean, it's got 58 pickups in it, so it's sort of got like a range of old parts.
Yeah.
And really, really thankful. And it's but this neck just went right on there, man. It just sounds and feels like it wants to be on there.
It was the original neck off of that can just go in the closet and you'll always have it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not like it's going to go anywhere. It's not going to degenerate. It's not going to decrease. The frets aren't going to wear. If you're not playing it, that's just, you know what I mean?
You're absolutely right. Well, man. I mean, you're working with parts of these old guitars all the time, and I mean, so many of our favorite players did that, right? They would swap necks out or swap, and I think it happened a lot more than we're even aware of. Some of Stevie Ray Vaughan's guitars, I'm sure he was changing necks out on those guitars all the time.
Yeah.
Parts, pickups, and stuff. And very famously, we all know that Eric Clapton's Wacky Strat came from a bunch of different guitars, and I mean, different parts and sort of assembling guitars, or not necessarily together, but
I mean, a lot of, what I like to do is, especially like I like to get a project going, and I try to, if I have a 60 Strat neck and a 60 Strat body, I'll try to find everything proper for it. I'm at this crossroads now because it seems like the vintage guitar buying and selling, and this is actually this is a follow-up video coming to this one. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this, but it's just so hard. You're either going to buy something for $14,000 because that's what the market tells you it is, or you're going to buy something for $4,000 and it's not worth $2,500, but it's what the market has become. You know what I mean? And I praise guys like Bonamassa and those guys that are out there. Joe's a realistic guy when he walks into those guitar shops, and I know people that he's dealt with, and he's giving realistic, a 65 or a 64 Strat with, changed pickups, different tuners where they had to drill the neck out, and change saddles. But other than that, I mean, it's not worth $10,000. It's not. It's you got to start looking at it as a parts guitar. As much as that neck and the body came together, great, but it's not worth the amount of money that these guitars seem to be getting. And I think the bigger conglomerate stores are making it harder for normal everyday guys to own, have that experience of owning, holy shit, I'm about to open this box and inside it is my 1959 Stratocaster. They're almost killing that almost that rite of passage. You know what I mean? And so when I try to do something, I mean, I'll be the first one to tell you I'm an open book, but I built a 62 Strat. It had an August 62 body, a July 62 neck, so it lined up perfect. I found 62 pots, a proper three-way switch, a 62 pickguard, and I sold it for $8,500. The entire guitar was 1962, but I was fully disclosed on what I told everybody what it was.
Yeah.
And that's just that's just one instance. I mean, I don't know. The vintage guitar stuff is extremely hard, and we were going through that. We were going back and forth like, man, I don't really want to spend $3,000 on a neck, and I'd search a couple more, and we'd find some a couple of bucks lower, and then it'd be, well, I don't really want to spend $2,800, and then by the time you refret it, you're into it for $3,000, And
right.
when that 66 popped up, and it was Indian rosewood, and it was untouched, the price, it was almost too good to be true, and the deal had to be done ASAP,
Well, especially like that the gentleman was a contact that you knew, right?
Yeah.
It was a trustworthy source.
Yeah.
Because we've all bought stuff that wasn't what it was supposed to be. So, so it's it's always good to make sure you know who you're buying from.
Yeah.
And so I think that was also a comfort level that you were friends with him, and or at least there was a contact. You guys knew each other.
No, he's a great guy. He's a cool dude.
Had done business together before, when Brian Mascaron looked at it too, he was like, man, this is lovely.
Yeah.
This is lovely, really, really great neck. And was that the guitar you're talking about, that 62, was that the blonde one that you had like a year or two ago? Yeah. That one.
I know you were a little sweet on that one, huh?
Yeah, it was nice. That looked very. I have a picture of that on my phone. It was a very nice guitar.
Nice. The guy that bought that, nice guy, really, he just wanted it. It's the other thing with that one too. That's one I regret selling. That was an ash body 62, which was originally blonde, because when I took all of the red paint off of it, a large percentage of the blonde was still underneath it.
Really?
And I regret selling that one because that had a little darker sound, but I don't think that it had the original fret still in the neck, so I couldn't really dig into it the way I wanted to. And at the time I was making a move for this guitar, and that was one of those things where I sold that. I think I sold a 59 Telly. And, that's the other thing, too, is I'm selling good stuff to get good stuff. And it was tough, but if I ever get the opportunity to get that one back, I think I would. Because that with some jumbo frets in there and some spend more time with the pickup adjustments, I really feel like that, because that guitar had something special. It just had this super fast 62 neck. And,
I remember some of the videos you put up. It had a great sound too. The out of phase positions were really nice. And,
yep.
I'm pretty sure if I went back to your Instagram, you could see some of those videos.
Yeah.
But I remember you posting some stuff. Yeah, that was really. And a very striking finish on it as well. It looked really good.
Yeah, I had it refinished, and luckily it was a great piece of ash. So
great piece of ash.
Well, notice how I emphasize the ash, but just the grain coming through is incredible. So that's one guitar I do miss, and if I ever get the opportunity to get it back, I probably will. But moving on, this is not about me.
Knowing you, you'll find you'll find a bunch before then. So
well, hey, you bring that up, but we have to tell that story about what happened with us with the Diaz pedals last month or 2 months ago.
That was pretty bizarre.